if I had my way, I would make sure that every school was an associate member of a Chamber of Commerce.
Mm.
And that's what happened in Derry. I've asked for that to happen in Belfast.
Yeah.
I've asked for that to happen in Newry. I've asked other areas to do that, but that hasn't happened yet. And why is that not happening?
Mm.
Why are schools not associate members of Chamber of Commerce? They have a lot to contribute. And at the minute, like, you need every worker that you possibly can get here because we have so few workers.
Yeah. But again, it's the time, the scarce resources that we've talked about that a school might have. They're being measured on all these things.
I think there'd be a certain kudos in them coming to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, which is not necessarily always during the day.
Yes.
There's a certain kudos.
But it needs that buy-in. Do the Board of Governors can they be a driver in some of this? If we get good people around those tables, whether at primary, post-primary, who are saying to your principal, like, we've got you, we've got your back on this. Have you seen good examples of governors?
I've seen good examples of that.
Not always
I've been blessed with two really good chairs of Board of Governors who got this, yes. Because I remember my chair of Board of Governors in Belfast in particular saying to me, "Oh, this is really good for the school that you're part of this." And defending me if I was actually part of something. So, they understood this. But that was because that was a professional Board of Governors.
Okay.
Not all schools have professional boards of governors. And they have to, a lot of governors are giving up their time freely.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think there's any school that would say no to this. It just, like head teachers into industry again, I think there'll be lots of head teachers jumping at it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that hasn't been in place since the early 1990s. So there's lots of things we lost during the 90s, and this century.
Yeah. So we've thought quite a bit about education. You're in a role now where you're chairing the Skills Council, and that skills right across the economy for all ages. Is that right?
Yeah.
You talked about working in some areas, say in the Bogside and Derry and in North Belfast and Hazelwood. As we think about the changing landscape, and you mentioned digital, AI and automation and robotics and all those things, is there a concern that a large, you mentioned about digital literacy, but is there a concern that a large swathe of our society are going to struggle to find their place in this new economy? Do you have any nightmares? What do you think about that?
I'd say if anything would keep me awake at night, it would be that. Because I realised during COVID, because at that time I was involved with SIA, and then after that with the Skills Council, the fact that, maybe only 70% of students were able to access online work. 30% weren't. And those 30% were the 30% who were already disadvantaged. So there would be further disadvantage. So with all age groups very much in mind with the Skills Council, digital skills is something you have to embrace regardless to what age you are. You can't not use AI. I was blessed for most of my years, last 3 decades at work, that I had a secretary. Have no secretary anymore, so could not do without AI as an administrative assistant. And there are many people like me at my age group who are the same, who've had to learn and embrace digital skills. But that takes very little.